Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rimworld and to our unknown world, our pedagogical playthrough. And today's topic, if we're gonna have a topic, we're not gonna have topics every time, but this time the topic is going to be uh, priorities and motivation, or how should we say this, like facilitating workflows and motivation, maybe we could call it workflows and motivations. So. Um, I, in this game, the way you facilitate the colonists working, so we need to get them start working, we need to get them start building a base. But as I said in the last episode, this is a game where you don't directly steer the colonists, you don't just direct and tell them what to do all the time. Instead, you facilitate their work by creating parameters within which they will work. Okay, that sounds a bit fancy, but let me break it down how it actually works in practice. This is the work assignment screen. Now, the way this works in the sort of simplified version of it, we're going to turn up the advanced, the sort of, we're going to make it a bit more advanced in a bit. Is this? What it does is, these are all the different kinds of jobs that are available in the game, and they're listed in order of priority here, which means that let's take, for example, the doctor job as an example. The doctor job means that if the doctor job is enabled, and if there's someone who is sick or needing treatment, then this game checks whether a person has the doctor job enabled. If they do, they will go and do and treat that patient. Now, you'll notice that before doctor there's firefight and patient. That means that, let's say there is someone who is hurt, but there's also a fire. That means that the program will check from left to right whether someone has firefight enabled, and if they do, they will go fight the fire. Even if they also have doctor enabled, if they have both firefight and doctor enabled, then the game will have the colonist first go and put out the fire, because that is further to the left, and only after the fire's been put out will they go and do the doctoring. And if one of these jobs is not selected, for example here Wilhelm is not able to put out fires, then it'll just skip down the line and see the next job. So if there aren't any fires, if there's no patients, if there's no one hurt, if no one needs bed rest, blah blah blah, then it goes further down until we get to the end, and the lowest priority we have is research. Now in this simplified version, where it simply checks if something is enabled or disabled, this is means that of course these jobs never get done if any of these jobs are undone, which is not that great, because sometimes we need these jobs done, and also we need to be able to play to the strengths of our colonists. So a brief parallel to teaching here again, about how we have heterogeneous learners, and there's some overlap here. Obviously, when we have a course in a school, we can't, for one, we don't get this kind of absolute black and white values of what their skills are. We also clearly don't micromanage in this sense of turning specific tasks on for specific people. But the idea, the thought practice of this is a good idea, about thinking about how do you optimize the various strategies, how do you optimize the various course contents for the group that you have. Sometimes before, groups or courses have been designed to be like, this is what we do in the course, and all students, perhaps in a way of trying to create fair courses, what has been done is you've created a course where everyone has the same kind of tasks. That is interesting in a way, and it's an easy way to design a course. It's a simple way to design a course, and then and then people do better or worse, get a better or worse grade depending on how good they are. Now, this kind of thought of having a kind of a workflow chart like this means that yes, there are certain things that need to be done, but not everyone needs to do it in the same way, or not even everyone needs to do everything, as long as things get done. This takes an element of project management into course design and says, look, yeah, different strokes for different folks. You can balance the job in different ways and learn to utilize strengths in the group and prioritizing work depending on very many factions. Naturally, in many courses you do need the idea is that every individual is supposed to be getting certain kinds of exposure, but I think it's worth still at least playing with the idea of thinking about having a range of flexibility, having a possibility of dividing and changing and rebalancing loads of work in order to reflect the heterogeneous nature of the group. Anyway, let's turn this up a notch and see if we can't optimize our workflow a little bit better. So now I put on manual priorities. This means that what will happen is that the program will again go from left to right, but they will look for the lowest number first. So for example, let's take oh, pretty good doctors here. So let's take okay, let's take this for example. This means that I put a priority of 1 here, which means when it looks through the row of figures here, it sees that 1 is the lowest number. That means that if there is someone who needs treatment, Wilhelm will do that first, before anything else, even before this patient thing here. And we'll also put this as 1, which means that when there's a fire, no matter what they are doing, they will stop doing what they're doing and rush to put out the fire. If they have, okay, let's put that as 2, and let's put this as 2. This whole plus means that if I put something to be urgently hauled, they will do it before these other things. That's a new feature. Usually haul is a very low priority job, but sometimes you really need something hauled quickly, and so there's a new haul plus job over here. Flicking switches is really important. A lot of times automated defenses will be turned on by flicking a switch, so we want to have that pretty high priority. Wardening means takes care of prisoners and stuff like that, so we'll leave that at 3. Animal handling, yeah, not critically important, so gonna leave that at 3 as well. We have 2 at a skill 4, so we'll do that. We have horrendously bad cooks, but I guess you're just gonna have to learn. We're gonna have a lot of food poisoning because Thomas, let me stop everything right now because I have actually gotten some names. Thomas, you are going to be Fred. Glad to have you with us, Fred. There we go. Fred has joined the colony. He has found his true name. And those longtime fans are going to be happy to see that a classic from one of my first series is back. This is no other than Lady Ansu, who will be having the honor of being Wilhelm's fiancée. Congratulations, the happy couple. Alright, so we have Fred, Wilhelm, and Lady Ansu, our first 3 colonists. We have gotten their real names. But now, back to workflow prioritization. So, yes, this is going to be a problem. We hope we can get a 4th colonist very soon who can cook, because, like I said, Fred here is going to basically, I don't know, he's not going to be able to see the difference between a stone and food very easily. Hunting I'm going to turn off for reasons I'll try to explain later, but basically I like to do the hunting part manually, because if you let the AI decide how to hunt, things don't go too well. This can be seen as doing a quick parallel to a course design. There are certain things. Let's say that if you plan a task for students, and out of experience, you know that certain kinds of projects needs to be more or less mechanically guided. A lot of times you can identify certain student behavior. That means that left to their own devices, they will pursue a certain line of work, and that usually won't yield the result that you want to yield. Hunting is a little bit the same as that in Rimworld, in that sure, they will go out and kill creatures you designated for hunting, but they'll also potentially not care if someone's in the line of sight. They will sort of hit pets and traders and all kinds of stuff. So they're basically not. The AI is not really capable of doing that in a safe way, is what I'm saying. Construction, everyone will construct no matter how bad you are, and yes, we are bad because a lot of our skills are rubbish, but who cares? Also, Lady Anse won't grow anything. People can... Everyone can mine, we just need to get things mined sometimes. Smithing, okay. We're not going to be smithing anything for a while. So, but we can put that as 3. And art, and I'm not gonna do any art either for a while. Actually, 2 is so bad that you're just not gonna do that. But that's fine. And then we are going to have Lady Ansu. This is not a sort of social gender role commentary. Lady Ansu just ended up cleaning. I had I prioritized hauling for some of them and cleaning for some of them to balance it out a little bit. Now that's the workflow. So this can be seen as how you want to design, how you want to guide people around the workflow and trying to optimize. First of all, you have to think about, and this is true for a lot of courses when we design a course, you have certain learning outcomes that are not really yours. They're sort of given to you by the outside, kind of like this game gives you the external context of you must survive in this hostile environment. And so I know I have to do that. And so this workflow chart is a way of thinking like, okay, how do we navigate the fact that this course needs to accomplish a certain thing? How do we get to that point in the most optimal manner? Now the next screen I will have up is this is their sort of work schedule screen. And this is a bit of an interesting thing because this is about telling them when they should work or when they have to work, when they can work. And this is an interesting bit because this is where I think we can talk a lot about how something that's really important in learning, and that's what we can call motivation, and especially intrinsic motivation. If you look up here in the top right corner, this is a add-on mod that easily displays what kind of mood the colonists have at the moment. If we could take a look here at the needs, they have actually a pretty good mood because they have very low expectations. Now, if you've ever taught in university, or even if you've taught in any kind of school, or if you've been a student many times, you know that this is true a lot of times when you come to a course, right? Very low expectations. It's sort of like, yeah, well, we gotta be here, so whatever. Won't be too disappointed if it's not good because I'm not expecting anything. Now, these kinds of mood indicators are critical because if we want to actually have colonists that do work and do work well, then we need to keep them happy enough. Let's put it like that. We don't want them to have any mental breaks, and this is kind of like some people might criticize the idea of internal motivation to say, hey, you know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Internal motivation is something that everyone just have to find for themselves, and it's up to everyone to have the motivation to do the job that it takes. And okay, sure, that can be true, but it's a tricky thing. In this particular thing as well, as we have here, I said, this is a game where you don't tell them to do things directly. You set up things to be done and facilitate that they get done. And it's a lot like learning, in that sure, you could just say, hey, you're gonna just man up and do this kind of thing, but there's a lot in life that require that, and whether it's your course or whether it's external things, there are going to be things that will pull down on people's moods. Even people with a good work ethic, if you push them too hard, at some point they will run out of that kind of motivation. And so the mood indicator here can be a sort of indicator of building a workspace, a learning space where the effort itself maintains the mood. And part of this is actually part of doing this is setting up their sleep and work schedule. Now we have a night owl, and the night owl gets a mood bonus if awake at night from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. and mood loss if awake during the day from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So what we're going to do very, very, very first is to make sure that we mandate, and this means that they have to sleep. So if I put this down, so this is where I step in as the sort of dev or the teacher and say, look, you're gonna have to sleep at that time. And then we can put in let's put in a little bit of joy right there, and then they get a mood bonus here, so we can put a sort of 4-hour work thing over there, another 4-hour work thing. Like that. And then the great part is do whatever they want. So if they're really, really tired at this point, they could go to bed extra early, or they can take some extra joy. This is mandated joy, which says that you have to be up and do something fun. Now, Lady Ansu is Wilhelm's fiancée, and you notice that they do want to actually kind of hang out with each other, as you see here. Wants to sleep with Lady Ansu, and Lady Ansu wants to sleep with Wilhelm. Cannot blame her there. Instead, so we have to check about that. But then Lady Ansu is a night owl and Wilhelm is not. But the good thing is that doesn't mean that Wilhelm is a day bird. That just means that we're gonna be a little bit fancy with this thing, and we're gonna put in the sleeping pattern of Wilhelm to be something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. That's all you need. And we'll put in. Then we'll put in a bit of joy right here. And let's see, how did I do this? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Actually, let them have a chance to interact there too if they want to. There we go. And then actually we're going to put the last sleep section over here. So we'll have these in kind of in shifts, as you can see, so that we'll have someone up and working pretty much all the time. You don't have to do it like that, but that's just how I choose to run it. Like that. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We have our work schedule set up. So there. So this is what I was thinking about how this reflects on teaching as well, because this basically means that you sort of divide up the work among different people, or allow them to divide it up, and puts different emphasis on different people based on what they have. Now, we don't have, for real people in real classes, these kind of exact values for various skills, nor do we have always an easy time to divide up or be able to divide up this modularly the tasks of the course. But something, if we get to be more of a learning environment where students are getting more and more better to reflect and self-review and create and maintain a sort of to be able to create and maintain and report on their own abilities in various areas, then we could have future learning environments be such that there is this ability to modify the workflow, modify the work focus areas depending on the strengths and weaknesses of the student. Anyway, I think we talked enough about theory now. I think it's time we start carrying stuff to places, and we've already picked this place out as our main place. So I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to start up with just a few stockpiles. We need to start gathering things in a particular area. So just make a 7x7 stockpile right there, and a 7x7 stockpile right there. And in this stockpile, we will, let's see, allow all. We'll take none of that. No chunks. We do want corpses, but we don't want raw resources, except for plant matter and wood, because that goes bad if it's out and about. And actually that is about it, I think. Yes. Another thing about I want this somewhere else. I want with like a dumping stockpile, and we put it over here. Takes 7x7 like that. And here we don't allow anything rotten there. We want raw resources, but not plant matter and not wood, and no corpses there. Actually, no apparel, please. Weapons. No, none of that nonsense. So, there. That will get them started on carrying a few things up here, and then actually what we want to do is right away build a few wooden things here. Okay, that didn't end up looking like I wanted it to, but The reason I want to put those down there is because we are going to place a roof over all this right from the start, because this is where we're going to start having our living quarters and things. And I'm actually going to already place down some more of these here and here and there, and we'll just roof over this whole place, because that way we can already have a nice place to store our stuff. But let's... Did I already have them pick up their weapons? I don't know if I did. No, I don't think I did anything. Alright, so let's see. Fred, my man. Fred the shooting guy. So my people can't really do much, but they can shoot. And Lady Ansu is the ninja. Yes, so let's see. You have a melee of 4, melee of 0, melee of 0. So okay, I think that our ninja is going to be the one who gets to pick up the knife. If I can see the knife anywhere. Wilhelm, why don't you go pick up the pistol? Fred, you go pick up the bolt action rifle. And where's the knife? Oh, there's the knife. You pick up the knife. Okay. And yeah, I think I want to get these hauled first. Oh wait, didn't... Are you gonna go pick up? Yeah, you're gonna go pick those things up. Okay, and let's just let them carry some... What? Who's... Oh, that's just some animal. I thought that was something evil. Alright, we also are lucky enough to have some heal root. What's this mean? Can I do that? Alright, I guess not. I'm just gonna harvest these, but yeah, let's just let them... This is heal root, so this basically turns into medicine, and we're gonna need this because... okay, that's the sound of them building a roof, so okay, everything is starting out nicely. Just gonna put these to be harvested because our people are so bad at growing things that we are not gonna be able to grow hardly anything early on. But we are gonna be able to grow some things, so actually I'm gonna set this up right away to be utilized. I'll put a 6x6 square there, and a 6x6 square here, and a 6x6 square there. So I'm gonna just plant some rice and some cotton right here, and that's potatoes. Okay. Now then, the next step is to get us someplace to sleep. And I think I'll just start doing that right around here. Just gonna make a little barracks. Put in a door here and here. And just put a few beds in there for now. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Oh yeah, and then I want to let them finish carrying stuff in here because... And as you can tell, it's pretty dark, so we're gonna... I think... is it cold? It's 22 degrees, it's not that cold, but I think we're gonna have a few torches in here. Hopefully it won't get too hot. Now wait a minute, we have a dog, don't we? Igor the cat. And cats cannot be trained to do anything. So that cat's just gonna be making someone sad at some point. Alright, so let's see how Fred took that bed, which is a shoddy bed, and a poor bed. Okay, so people are not gonna be very happy with their beds in the beginning at least, but let's make their floor a bit nicer. So since a lot of this is rock floor, we can just smooth it out. So that's going to be increasing the beauty of the room a little bit, which what that does is it makes people just a little bit happier with the idea of living there. Next up, what we are going to do, I'm just going to take a quick look here. Alright, is I think this is where we are going to call it a day. So we had a quick little talk about how the job systems work here and how I feel like that can be... no, someone's... Why, Wilhelm, are you sad? Wilhelm is... Ooh! Wait a minute now. Wait a cotton-picking minute. We need to take care of our situation here. And you might wonder, what situation that? Well, the situation is... we have some... Well... Not quite newlyweds, but not quite not newlyweds. Wait, how do I want to do this? Where do I want to put that? Yes, why don't I put it over this way? Yes, of course, Wilhelm is upset because he hasn't had the best room yet, but we're gonna take care of that soon. Because so we can actually, this shoddy bed can be deconstructed, and that shoddy bed can be deconstructed because we're gonna add this, and we'll put a torch here. And yes, of course, we have people who are engaged, so obviously we need to see about that. Do we have enough wood? I could have this wood chopped here. Chop some wood. Chop all that whenever you have a chance. So, let's see. Oh, they're growing things. Actually, okay, good. Wilhelm, go and cut that tree. Yeah, we do need to actually get these built fairly quickly. I would appreciate it if... Actually, I'm gonna change the priority here now from growing to 4 quickly, because I want other things to be done before that. I want them to go and build that double bed before it's time to... Okay, this is taking a while, but... Oh no. Who can do some kind of construction? Can you? Alright, it's not great, but it's something. So I'm gonna have Wilhelm go there. And actually, you should go there too, obviously. Alright, good. Now, what's wrong? Jealous of Lady Ansu's bedroom, but it's your bedroom too. It's... Jealousy is a horrible beast. He is upset because Lady Ansu's room, which is also his room, is nicer than... How does that even work? I just want to know how... I mean, I don't know what to think. Alright, now his sleep is getting disturbed. Alright, things are not starting out well for poor Wilhelm here. But hopefully we can get it to work out. Now, we'll also smooth the floors in there to hopefully make him feel just a tad better about things. We don't want people to get... talking about like motivation and mood again, and it's if colonists are in a poor mood, then they will start getting destructive. And in this kind of situation where you might feel like, well, doesn't the circumstances, the fact that if you don't work here, it means you pretty much die. So doesn't that seem to indicate that the circumstances should make you motivated to work? Even without an internal motivation, but that's just not true, because when people get upset, they start doing destructive things. They start doing things that is worse for them and worse for the outcome. So that is the reason in this game and in real life as well, why you need to make sure that people are motivated, stay motivated, and want to get things done. Now, okay, everyone's feeling fairly good. People are. Let's see. It seems like he's feeling better now. Okay, feeling good. 8 without a table, awful bedroom. Oh well. Sorry about that. I'm awfully sorry. Your bedroom is not to snuff. Actually, no, I'm not. We will set more things up very soon, including, I think, some power. But I spent so long in the beginning talking about things related to the workflow chart and explain the workflow chart that I think this is a good time to call a bit of a break. And when we come back, we are going to start setting up the basic industry. So we're going to actually start putting in some real tasks into this course and setting up the outcome. About that is that let's talk a little bit about expectations and agency. So we're going to talk more about this next time, but basically the basic gist of the issue here is that if we think about outcomes, if we think about what are we supposed to do here? What are we supposed to produce? The idea is to survive and also to eventually be able to get out of to escape this problematic situation that we're in, and that can be the outcome. And it says that's something we can't really affect. But another thing that we can't really affect is the overall context of this game. What's in it? The events that unfold, that is not really something we can control. What we have agency over is how do we want to do this? We can actually play this game without wanting to escape. We don't have to construct a spaceship. We don't do it. We can raid nearby colonists instead, and then become like fearsome pirates, even more fearsome than the face beaters of murder. We can just design nice stuff. We have to build somewhere to sleep, but it was up to me to decide to have these these rooms put together like this, to have these beds placed right here. And so there's agency within the task. It's about choosing a way, choosing how you want to proceed, how you want to reach the outcome, which is this freedom, which creates again for the player of this game an internal motivation to do it like the way to make this to claim ownership of the learning event, as you say in pedagogy, or to actually. You're gonna trade with who's that? Gorilla? Name's Gorilla. Okay, Gorilla's here. He or she. It's a he. He has some items to trade, but we're gonna take a look at that in the next episode. All right. So this time we got our food production started. Although we don't still have a kitchen or any means of processing that food, but we got a while before anything happens there. We also have a good bit of survival meals still here that will see us through. We got some basic sleeping quarters, although, as Wilhelm put it, they're awful. Thanks, Wilhelm. Very joy deprived. That's something I can fix or start fixing very early on. We can put down some wooden horseshoe pins that you can play. Here you go. Alright, but that's it for now. Hope you join me next time where we set up some basic shop, kitchens, stone cutters, that kind of thing. Lovely. It's gonna be great. See you next time. Bye.